Hello and welcome to Electric Bike Report. My name is Pete and this is the Biktrix Juggernaut HD electric fat bike in for testing and review. This is a pretty interesting fat bike because it has, the typical 4-inch wide fat tires, but it also features the 750 watt Bafang mid-drive that provides pedal assist up to 28 miles an hour and throttle up to 20, and it leverages the bike drivetrain to climb hills as well as to power through a lot of the tough terrain like sand, snow, and mud. There's also 3 different battery options as well, and a lot of customizable features. The Juggernaut HD starts at $25.99 and goes up from there depending on which features you select. So this is a video overview, and I'll have a full review for you at electricbikereport.com. So with that, let's get into the details. So let's take a look at the aluminum frame. So first of all, you'll notice that there's some pretty interesting shapes to the frame, and this is the hydroform tubing, where they're able to really shape the tubes to create additional strength where it's needed. Say here at the head tube connection, you can see the solid connection points of the top tube and down tube. A lot of weld surface area there, and the top tube itself has somewhat of a triangulated profile, and then it really drops down here, has quite a bit of slope to it, so it creates a lot of step over height right there, which makes it easy to get on and ride the bike, and it's also nice for when you're out riding, just providing that additional standover height. Then coming down here, you can see the connection at the seat tube, and you can see some internal cable routing. That's really nice for just protecting the cables as well as providing just a cleaner look. And the seat tube itself enlarges as it gets to the motor mount right here. So that's a nice solid connection point for the seat tube at the motor mount. And taking a look at the down tube, so you've got the integrated lithium battery pack here into the down tube of the frame, and this is really nice for the overall weight distribution, which helps for bike handling. And when you combine that location with the mid-drive motor that's also low and centered, it just creates a very nice handling bike, and it's also good for when you just pick the bike up. Has a very balanced feel to it. And then coming back to the seat stays, you can see the rear rack attachment points here. And then coming down to the dropout area, there's a replaceable derailleur hanger right there. So if you were to bend that, it's easy to replace and take care of that. And then coming back to the front of the bike, this is the RST Guide suspension fork. Has 80 millimeters of travel and has a nice lively feel to it. On this side is a lockout dial, so you can lock out the fork if you want to, if you're riding on smooth roads and want a more efficient ride, and you can open it up so it has the full suspension travel for riding on rougher terrain. On the other side is the preload dial, so you can adjust the spring rate of the fork to fit your weight and riding style. Biktrix also offers the optional upgrade to the Wren inverted suspension fork. Biktrix offers 3 different battery packs for the Juggernaut HD. This is the 48 volt 11.6 amp hour battery pack, and it's the base model. There's also the 48 volt 16.5 amp hour and a 20 amp hour pack if you want that, and those are additional money for those higher capacity packs. And then here at the top is the power button that shows your battery level indicator. There's also a battery level indicator on the display too. And then this is a USB charging port, so you can charge smartphone or tablet or other USB powered device when you're out and about. So let's take a look at removing the battery pack. First of all, just unlock it with one of the supplied keys. And then you can see the connection point here down at the bottom of the down tube, and then the down tube itself and the connection point there at the top. And then taking a look at the battery pack, that's the charge port, and we'll show the charger here in a second. Connection at the bottom of the pack, and then the top of the pack here, connection point there. And then to reinstall, basically the same in reverse, just line it up down there at the bottom. Similarly here at the top, click it into place, take the key, and you're set to go. So here's a look at the charger plugged into the charge port there on the battery pack. the battery can be charged on or off the bike, and for this 48 volt 11.6 amp hour, which is the base battery pack, it takes about 2 to 3 hours to fully charge from empty. So here's a look at the Bafang 750 watt mid-drive motor that's housed within the motor casing. The frame here has a clean look, and it's actually a pretty quiet mid-drive motor. So it provides pedal assist up to 28 miles per hour. There's 5 different levels of pedal assist, and there's also the throttle option, which will provide up to 20 miles per hour of assist. And it's pretty interesting because it combines your pedal power and the motor power, and then transmits it back to the transmission of the bike, the Shimano Dior 9-speed rear derailleur here that shifts through the Shimano 9-speed cassette. And what's interesting is that with a mid-drive system, you're able to leverage the drivetrain so you can climb hills well with efficiency and speed. And for this particular bike, with the 4-inch wide fat tires, you're able to really power through a lot of tough terrain like sand and snow and mud. So it's a nice combination for a fat bike like this, and really makes the Juggernaut HD a pretty versatile e-fat bike. So these are the Tektro Aries mechanical disc brakes with 160mm rotors that come stock on the Juggernaut HD. There's also the option for the upgrade to Tektro Dorado hydraulic disc brakes with 180mm rotors. So let's take a look at the handlebar. On the left side, this is a ergonomic grip. Has a little bit of a wing right here to provide some wrist support. The Tektro disc brake lever, and these have sensors in them, so when you engage the brake lever just a little bit, it will stop the power from the motor. There's also the bell right here, and the control pad, and the thumb throttle. So with the thumb throttle, you can get assist up to 20 miles an hour, and you can be pedaling or not pedaling. You can choose. And there's a lot of variability with this. It's kind of like a volume dial, from just a little ranging all the way up to full speed. So nice variability there. The control pad will adjust some of the settings here on the display. And so first of all, you'll see the plus and minus buttons, and those cycle through 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of the 5 different levels of pedal assist right there. And then up here at the top, you've got your battery level indicator, your current speed, and then you've got information like your trip distance, and you can cycle through this information with the I button on the display. So you can hit this is your overall odometer, your max speed, average speed, your range based on which pedal assist level you're in, the watts that the motor is providing, and then back to your trip distance. There's also the light button here, which you hold this down and it will turn on the headlight that runs off of the e-bike battery. There's also a backlight on the display too. So nice, large centered display, pretty easy to read the important stuff at a quick glance. And then over here on the other side, the Tektro rear disc brake lever, the Shimano 9-speed shifter here, and then the ergonomic grip. So we'll take a quick look at the overall bike fit. You can see the handlebars have a couple inches of rise to them. They're pretty wide, so they provide a good amount of leverage for maneuvering that large front wheel there. And then coming back to the seat here, you can see in general there's pretty upright and comfortable position. And then the seat itself has a mid-width profile, so it's pretty comfortable, but it still has a somewhat narrow profile on the front for still a performance-style ride. So these are the Kenda Juggernaut 26-inch by 4-inch wide fat tires that come stock on the Juggernaut HD. These are a pretty interesting tire because they have a lot of air volume, and so they have a bit of built-in suspension effect. And also the wider tread patch allows for the bike to ride over pretty tough terrain like sand and snow and mud. So it definitely a good all-terrain tire. Has that built-in suspension effect just because of the air volume, so it's able to absorb a lot of the rough stuff like rocks and roots and bumps and cracks in the road. So a lot of interesting benefits there. Now, Biktrix also offers a couple different size tires. They offer an even larger fat tire that's 4.8 inches wide, and so you can select that option if you want. You can also get the 27.5 by 3 inches wide, which is a little narrower, and it provides a little more agile handling, similar to a traditional mountain bike. So these are options that are no additional cost, so you can select that when you order the Juggernaut HD. So let's take a look at the accessory package. The headlight here on the front runs off of the main e-bike battery, so you don't have to worry about charging a separate battery for the headlight. One of the big highlights is the aluminum full coverage fenders. They have a nice look and feel, nice quality construction to them. And then you can see here the rear fender and the aluminum rear rack, and this can provide up to 55 pounds of cargo carrying capacity. It's got kind of an oversized look with its large aluminum tubing there. And then on the back here is the tail light that runs off of 2 AAA batteries and has a solid and flashing mode. And last but not least is the bell and the kickstand. Okay, so that is the overview of the Biktrix Juggernaut HD. Make sure you check out electricbikereport.com for the full review, and that includes a bunch of detailed pictures, specifications, ride characteristics, range test results, pros, cons, and overall thoughts, all at electricbikereport.com.